was just like a delay, slight delay in starting, but we're here with you guys. Please, please don't mind the hair. It's been a long time. It was a hassle even trying to get in here. Glad to be back. Nigel will be joining us shortly. You guys know how it goes. If this is your first time tuning in, thank you first of all for tuning in to After Hours Live with your host Sherri Shabazz, and I'm usually here with my co-host Nigel. He'll be coming in shortly. It's still early around here, so you guys might hear some noise in the background. That's Nigel's oversized. They do grow up and they become really annoying. You know, they know that their parents are going through certain things that they cannot be a part of, but yet they still decide to be here. I just feel like my hair is not cooperating. Now, need a little bang bang to get rid of the forehead. But anyway, again, like I said, if this is you guys' first time tuning in with us tonight, welcome. This is just behind the scenes. We do hot topics, live discussions about what's going on in the world, relatable topics, and most importantly, we do touch on my book, Confessions. We now have Nigel. So, speaking of book, let's discuss the merch. You see these lovely sweatsuits. I'm sorry, not sweatsuits. What are they called? Hoodies. Hoodies. Nigel is wearing the Orgasm Donor, and I am wearing Make America Come Again. That's right. Maca. Make America Come Again. Speaking of Maca, I also make my own.
Is that IG?
No, IG still has me blank. I'm blocked. I make my own libido enhancer with macaroon, honey, dates, and I'm missing something. Sea moss. Main ingredient is sea moss. And all of this stuff is available on the Sherri Shabazz app. Not app. Website. SherriShabazz.com. That's SHERRI. Shabazz, SHABAZZ.com. And also, while you're on the World Wide Web, make sure you look for my book. It's on Amazon, Pleasure Principles. Yes, my book, Pleasure Principles, is turning 1 on June 9th, which is also National Sex Day. So, guys, make sure you get the book. You can find it on Amazon. Just type in Pleasure Principles by Sherri Shabazz, or you can go to pleasureprinciplesbook.com. Again, that's pleasureprinciplesbook.com. Nigel, do you have any?
Eden.
In the middle of live. In the middle of the live. Do you have anything that you want to discuss? Nigel? Y'all see what we're going through, like in the middle of the live?
They always trying. They always trying.
Anything that I forgot to mention on the website?
On Sherri Shabazz?
Just go to SherriShabazz.com. Also, I make my own. I have my own. I don't make it. We have a scientist for that. I make my own natural CBD infused lubricant. So again, for those people who need a little bit of help with the moisture area down there, or you like playing with the lube because you may enjoy anal sex, or you enjoy marathon sex and it gets a little dry after some time, make sure you guys go on the website and get my CBD infused lubricant. Also, while you're there, make sure you subscribe so you know what's going on. We are doing what? That's what I'm saying. And I was trying to get, my hair to like cover it a little bit, and it's not cooperating. I greased some scalp, so my hair a little oily looking. It's moisturized, but anyway, I had a fart too. Excuse me. So, like I was saying, I don't remember what I was saying because you cut me off.
We're talking about CBD lube live.
Oh, make sure you guys subscribe because we are doing a Florida tour, a Florida summer tour. So areas like Tampa, Orlando, Jacksonville, get ready. We are coming your way. So make sure you guys have subscribed to the site so you know when we're coming to your city. And also for anything else that I'm getting ready to do, we just had the Orgasmic Masterclass this past Saturday. There's something that it's been going on for a few years now. I believe we started like around the pandemic. So, we're talking about trying to get that back on the road. We went to Atlanta with it one time, but for the most part, we do it here in South Florida. We are planning a virtual session. So for those, if we don't make it to your city, you guys have been asking us to come. you guys will be able to watch it virtually. It's such a great show. You learn about the 12 different orgasms. We teach you, we have live demonstrations. We teach you different techniques. We teach you about the anatomy. It's very edutaining. Sorry, it's very edutaining. That's educational and entertaining, so you won't be bored. Um, and it's something that that you'll have with you forever and a day. If you come to the class, you're gonna always remember the different orgasms that you need to try. All right. Anything else that I am forgetting, Nigel? You missed being live. Oh, Carnival. Oh yeah. Forgot, you guys know we're a jack of a lot of trades around here. So if you guys have ever wanted to participate in the Caribbean Carnival, if you are in South Florida, make sure you are following After Hours Mass. That's After Hours with a Z Mass on Instagram. Or if you're in the Baltimore area, Baltimore, we are coming your way July 11th. So if you've ever wanted to put on one of those pretty costumes, if you've ever wanted to be enriched in the culture, if you love soca music, if you just want to get out there and let all your insecurities lay out on the road, you just want to get over all the stress that you've been going through throughout the year, make sure you guys follow After Hours Mass. So you can see when the costumes drop, when registration open for Miami. Registration is open for Baltimore. And if you have been a masquerader with us from Miami, you could just use your same costume from Miami, okay? Go free hole less and me coolo. All right, so this isn't Instagram. I'm used to my Instagram people. This is YouTube, so I'm a little newer to you guys. But if you are on Instagram, make sure you're following me at After Hours with two Z's and an X. That's AFTERHOURZZX. So on my Instagram, that's just my main social media. That's where I'm the most comfortable. That's where most of my followers are. That's where I cut up the most, which is why I am on a live ban right now. I can't go live again until 2027. First, it was February 2027. Then it was supposed to be May 16th of this year. Now it's May 16th of 2027. But if you follow me on Instagram, you know why that I keep getting banned. But whatever, F them. That's why we need to go to sherrishabazz.com to keep up with me, just in case they take my page from me. All right, so on to hot topics. You guys know that it's been a while. What we do is we come here on Wednesdays and we talk about my book, Pleasure Principles, the different chapters in them because they are very relatable. Okay, even if you have not gone through the situation, you probably will go through the situation. You probably thought about the situation. You're kind of like, you know, tussling in your head. Should I do it? Should I not do it? You're living a secret. You have done it. You just don't want to tell anybody. You're embarrassed by it. So this week we are discussing Good Girls Gone Bad. You know all about that, don't you?
I have no idea.
I was once a good girl, and then Nigel turned me into a Lucy, and here we are. I was once this innocent virgin.
That's what you want the people to believe.
So when I met you, I was not this innocent, untouched human. Nigel, you didn't teach me all these crazy things.
I ain't teaching you.
When I first met Nigel, my mouth was pure. I had never put my mouth on another human being down below, but for some reason I met Nigel, and all of a sudden, like things are going down my throat. I'm trying certain things that I've never tried before. I once was very innocent, and now I'm a Lucy. So yeah, we will be discussing tonight Good Girls Gone Bad and why the good girl role, why they love bad boys, and why bad boys love the good girl. Because, like we discuss every week when we come on here, no matter how good that we all try to be, no matter how much we're trying to heal, no matter how much we don't want to be the old person, we all our old selves, we all have to realize that at the end of the day, we're human. You are going to make mistakes, you are going to F up, and you are going to enjoy many of the sinful things that life has to offer. And it just is what it is. Like I try and tell everybody, don't feel bad about it. It always makes for a better story. Okay? Yeah. So we're gonna get into that later. But for the hot topics, we haven't been here for a while. We do want to talk about Meg the Stallion and Clay Thompson. Now, before I begin, Nigel, you know who Clay Thompson is?
Yeah.
Okay, who is he? Because I didn't know who he was.
A basketball player.
Okay. Did you know that he was Bahamian?
I don't know his personal life.
Mm. Okay, so I mentioned that because my family is Bahamian, right? My mom's side. Um, Speaking of that, we just got back from the beautiful island of Exuma. We had a great time up there visiting an aunt. She turned 100, so that was awesome. So I didn't know Mr. Clay Thompson was Bahamian. And, I always try to give I try to give everyone the benefit of the doubt because I know I have moments where I'm just a good girl and I would never do anything like that. I have never done anything like that. And then I have moments where I'm like, all right, in reality, humans are just going to be humans. When I think of athletes, specifically NBA athletes, NFL athletes, I do not think of monogamy at all. Can it exist? Absolutely. I think anything is possible, right? But for the most part, why would I be making all of this money and just settle down with one woman when I am this NBA star? Why would I do that? And I don't know much about him. I saw him. He's an attractive guy. Meg is an attractive woman. And people are saying, like, I didn't understand why everyone was so surprised he did that, right? I was not following their love life because just me personally is just a personal thing. I've always been that way. I just don't really take new relationships. I don't really take them serious. Like you have to like give me some time to be like, okay, they really are together. Because I do know that people fall in and out of love very quickly. And usually, when it's new, it feels so good. So you're like exploiting all of your relationship, but it won't last long because you don't really know each other. So I wasn't really paying attention to their love life. And then Meg has like we have been introduced to quite a few other different men. So I was like, my girl just having fun. Like, let her have fun, let her date. But apparently everyone was so mad because I'm like, why are y'all shocked? It's an NBA star. Like I don't get it. But everyone was like they were upset because he came into her life and so called promised her.
How they know that?
Hold on, listen. So he so called promised, that he won't be like everyone else that she has encountered. And in this case, we are talking about good girls gone bad. In everyone else's eyes, especially after the whole Tory Lanez thing, everyone sees Meg as like the bad girl. Everyone sees Meg as like a whole, when I say everyone, I mean these immature people who can't separate entertainer from human being. You know what I mean? When you separate the entertainer and you look at Megan, the person, like she seems to be doing pretty good, college educated, business owner, entrepreneur, doing her own thing. But the entertainer, she has to be hot girl. That's the persona. But apparently she likes being in love, and he told her that he would be this person. And Nigel made a great point. Nigel made a great point. And I think a lot of times we as humans, we get so invested in other people's situationships, especially celebrities, because social media over time has given us access. So we feel like we know these people and we feel like we should be a part of their lives. Um, I personally don't know what the arrangement was. I don't know if Clay said it himself. I don't know if their relationship made it to be that way. Again, I wasn't following it, so I can't tell y'all what it was, but I'm just a little confused because he's an NBA star.
Turn shit
And
off.
it's okay. And I'm not saying that Meg deserves, I'm not saying that at all. Like, I don't think anyone deserves to be cheated on. I don't think anyone deserves to be hurt. It's just that I'm a little shocked that humans outside of Megan are really affected by this relationship. And I think the reason maybe I may not be as affected because, again, I wasn't following it. And I expect, like I keep telling us, if we were to be human and stop pretending to be perfect in these fairy tale love stories or whatever, we would be able to accept that breakups are going to happen and it should only involve those two people. However hurt Meg is, let Meg be hurt. maybe Meg could sit with herself and say, okay, well, maybe I overlooked some red flags, or maybe I jumped in it too quick, or maybe I saw it all along, but I was just ignoring it, or maybe no, he really did hurt me, and I got to sit with this and just start new. You know what I mean? But I don't think we should be getting involved in their relationship. What do you think, Nigel? Even though we're about to have a whole thesis on their relationship.
Um, I don't really care about these people. Tell you the truth, I really don't care. They're not affecting life. They're not affecting my life. They're doing their shit and they're making their money and whatever they decide to do, they decide to screw and all that sort of stuff. They just decide we need to stop worshiping these people. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
They, their relationships are no different from everybody else. I don't understand why people even think that they're gonna be such a good couple and they're gonna be a great couple and they're annoyed or they suck that people cheat. That's the whole industry. None of that industry faithful to each other. So like what's the big deal? You know? And then everybody making their own narrative online about what is said and things like if all you're in these people's bedroom and you don't know what they're talking about on a day-to-day basis. You know, people with that type of money, whether it's him or her, they don't care. They have enough money. All of them screwing each other and have multiple people outside because they got their money to do it.
They have the status.
And they have the status to do it because
they have the status.
For him, they got 100 women just waiting to think, right? If you have women that if you're a criminal and you're a handsome criminal as a dude, you're gonna find thousands of women writing you in prison trying to get with you because you're good looking and you're handsome and all that sort of shit. They find you attractive, right? Don't matter what heinous crime you do, they're gonna have people lying up outside because of that. So what's the difference? Worse yet, now you're a celebrity. They got tens of thousands of people ready to throw their body at you as a guy, and the same thing as a female in her case. They got tens of thousands of men would just wait for opportunity.
Our child, you remember when our child had a serious crush on me?
To be part of that, and they don't care whether you're married or you have a girlfriend or whatever. Everybody want to think. So the pressure is on people in that limelight and stuff more than anything else. And like, who really cares? These people don't care. They just move on. Half of the time, their relationships don't even last long anyway in the first place. Most of the time, until they're really, really ready to settle down and they out of the business more or less and they want to just have a quiet lifestyle. So they come out of the limelight and they go underground and then they really actually find somebody that they could settle in with. But in the meantime, while they up and about in this lifestyle, to me, they don't really care. They keep moving on. It's more public, so it's just that they have to make a comment because it's stuff more public because everybody viewing it and everybody seeing it. But they don't move on to the next because they have a roster. They have somebody else lying up next to fill that freaking spot.
One thing, end of the day. I know my first thought when it first came out, because I think when it was posted, a blog reposted her story. So she was the one who came out and told everyone. Of course, she's hurt. When we're hurt, we don't give a damn. Like ain't nobody worried about, how this makes you look and blah blah blah. You're hurt. So it was her who actually, released the information. But my first thought was, girl, like y'all just broke up. Like we never announced the first breakup because you're going back. You're going back. So I'm sitting here and I'm reading all of these dissertations about their relationship and men this and men that, and again, pro athletes and blah blah blah. And I'm like, for all we know, they could really be back together fucking. Like we don't even know if they, because how many times did we break up?
No, but I mean, everybody does.
Everybody, like, you don't usually. I'm not saying that it doesn't happen, but it's very rare that people break up, like, for real, that first time. Of course, there are exceptions, because I know, like. Time. Say it again?
Or the second
or
time.
the fourth, or fifth, or sixth. There have been exceptions, because I know some people was like, all right, you messed up, and I just never. But I really never cared for those people. There was really nothing there. It was like, okay, I dated you. not to easily move on because there's no ties. But like when you really love somebody, like there's history there. You guys have been rocking for a while and things have been going good. And like this might be the first fuck up, or this might be the second fuck up, but it's not that serious. You rarely break up the first time and it be forever. So here I'm like, we're in these people's business, and she took her man back, just like Keke Palmer. I don't know if you guys remember. It took Keke Palmer a while before she actually really cut things off with that man. Like we saw them together again, and everybody's like, "Damn, we done customize in our head, and she back with him." So that's why I'm like, y'all, we gotta cheat. You know, we gotta chill out because they really might be screwing on each other, and everybody else is mad because you guys are thinking about your ex-boyfriend and what he did to you, or your ex-husband and what he did to you. That's what it is. People are trauma bonding. They're like, oh my God, even Meg the Stallion is getting cheated on, even Beyonce. They think that these celebrities are, untouchable when it comes
like
to cheating. Humans are humans. Like, whether they're wealthy or poor, humans are humans. Y'all, they have homeless people who are strung out on drugs, who have no house to piss in. No, what is this supposed to say? No pot to piss in, nowhere to go, on the street fighting because somebody in that relationship is cheating. Like from poor to very, very wealthy, it does not skip us. Like it does not skip anybody. You know what I mean? Like I'm not saying, and I feel like I have to say this every time I come on because people don't understand. Just speaking in general, I'm not saying everyone cheats. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that every celebrity cheats. What I'm saying is it's really common. It's a really common behavior amongst adults, like to have infidelity. You know what I mean? Like when you do your research and you get the stats, most divorces they happen because of either finance or infidelity. You know what I mean? If you talk to 10 women, 9 times out of 10, they're gonna, you're gonna have 9 out of 10 women tell you they've been cheated on. 9 times out of 10, if you talk to a male, he's gonna tell you, yeah, my baby mother, my girlfriend, somebody cheated on him. Like everyone experiences it or have experienced it. So it's a trauma bond. Now it happened to someone who we feel like we're close to because social media has made us feel like we have access to everybody's life. Again, with Keke Palmer, you probably don't follow it. I love Keke. So, like that is somebody, like I'm following Keke. I'm following what's happening. I remember the whole drama with her going to the Usher concert, and the initial breakup was not the first breakup. It wasn't the real breakup. It took time. So I'm like, we've invested our lives in Clay Thompson and Meg the Stallion.
Who we?
When I say we, I'm speaking in general. I'm speaking in general. And it's like she probably riding that man's face. She probably,
Listen, that happened so quick and so fast is retarded.
Yeah.
It obviously nothing was going on that level with none of these people in any serious tone like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? There ain't nothing was going on because you so bond and you think he couldn't even wait. It ain't a year yet. Has it even been a year?
Yeah, I don't think they.
I mean, like,
I'm not sure, but I don't think they
break with this shit, man. Y'all like, y'all need to leave these people alone. Let them.
And you know what it is? People mention social media, like they're like people who used to be in remedial classes and those who are in advanced or honor classes are now in one big space together. And that's what I have to remind people all the time because we're complaining about the younger generation, and I'm like, I remember when we first started on social media, it was just really the young, us young adults, us, late teenagers, young adults. Parents weren't really on social media like that. And we enjoyed the freedom that we had, that we had. We were able to express ourselves, talk shit, do all kind of just immature stuff because
without your parents on it.
Right. We didn't have any adult supervision, right? So like what I try and tell people too is especially when you're in the blogs. Like I had to learn I don't like certain blogs. I just don't like them. I'm not gonna name them because you just never know where a video might end. But certain blogs I do not like, and it's not necessarily their content, it's their subscribers, it's their followers that I just really
the rereads.
Like I have this one page that I follow, and I love the page because he makes me laugh all the time. But when I go through the comments, or if I were to make a comment, his followers. I'm just like, oh my God, they're so immature, blah blah blah. But what I had to realize is like when people were saying that we're all in one class, we're all in a. It's like we're in our 40s, or you're in your 50s. We're middle aged now, but we're also on the internet with 21-year-olds. Our values, our opinions on things are going to be totally different because the world that we live in is not the same world that they live in. Yes, we physically are in the same space. Virtually, we're all in the same realm, but we are in different frequencies. We have lived the life that they have not lived yet. So they, even though you might be responding based on wisdom and you might be responding based on experience, they're not going to understand and not be able to connect with you because they haven't been through that yet. You know what I mean? So where it's like something like us, we're looking at social media and we're like, oh, cheating. Okay, this part of life, like cheat back, be his ass, go fuck his daddy. Those kind of things I'm thinking through our head, that. But like a younger person's like, oh my God, what was me hurt? Oh fuck no, kill him. He better not ever da 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 da. And it's like she won't be the only one, unfortunately. And it doesn't make it right that we're immune to stuff like this. No, it does not make it right. It should not be normalized. It shouldn't. But unfortunately, this is where we are.
Here's the fantasy that all these be selling these people. That's why people start reacting to that thing.
And what's the fantasy?
All this crap that they're telling you. That whole picket fence and shit like that. And it's not the reality of what's really on the ground. And again, we ain't talking about every single person,
right?
But just in general, like y'all gotta make your stuff work for you and all this other sort of stuff. And it might be more. It could be that situation could have been more than just cheating. It's probably somebody that she know about even before and prior to them even getting together. He still end up thing, and she just mad about that fact that is that one person that she know about and stuff like that and thing. But I mean, they're all doing their thing. At the end of the day, I don't think anybody immune from that. It could happen to anybody at any given day, at any time, at any hour, whatever it is. And you know, move on.
It's easier said than done. We know that it's not easy to just move on. Even men might like to feel like it's so easy to move on. We know it's not easy, but I know what you mean. Like, go through the emotions, go through it because it's normal. And again, like I said, it shouldn't be normalized, but it is. But back on topic again, guys. If you have not purchased my book, where is it? Can you run and grab it for me, right quick? I usually have it here. I do have copies on hand. If you need a signed copy, pleasureprinciplesbook.com. The book will be turning a year old on June 9th, National Sex Day. But if you do not have this book, I'm telling you, get this book. If you want it right away and you don't need a signed copy, you could just go to Amazon. Pleasureprinciplesbook.com. That's me. And that's me. I've always wanted to be an author, right? Since I was a little girl, that was really a dream. So this book is actually good. It's not, most people have to start writing a book once you get a certain, space with your brand. They're like, okay, we'll write a book. It shows authority. It shows that you know what you're talking about. You're an expert. I always wanted to be an author. Like I always wanted to write. Like middle school, I used to write short stories a lot and plays, and I used to sell them. That was one of my little hustles. So I always wanted to become a writer. So this is made with passion. This is made with love. This is my baby, and the book is really good. It's 16 short stories compiled, and it takes you from vanilla to like whoa. Well, I will say for those of you who are very, very advanced, like your freak level is definitely at a 10, you're going to read this book like, oh, been there, done that. But it's going to be entertaining because it's probably something you have experienced. You can be like, well, yeah, I remember that. I remember that. But if you're those people who are already like your freak level is at a 10 and you're looking to try new things and stuff, you're not going to find that here. But I will say still get the book because, like I said, it's going to be relatable. It's going to be probably where you were when you first started out and then exploring or whatever. So you're going to be like, oh my God, I remember when that happened. It's going to bring back good memories. It's for those people who have fantasized about certain things and you don't feel safe in your fantasy. You don't really like talking about it. It make you feel like, oh my God, I might be gay. Or, oh my God, I might be a freak. Or oh my God, I might cheat. So it will open the Pandora's box. It will. But remember, it's not fiction. It doesn't have to be your life, but it will make you feel like, okay, so I'm not crazy for feeling this way. So, in one of our chapters, we are talking about jailhouse dick, right? It's when that good girl, jailhouse dick. I don't know if you guys can see it. I don't know if my camera is clean. So it's when that good girl, that suburban chick who was raised by mommy and daddy, she had a loving family, went off to a great school, became, this big time attorney doing well in her job, falls in love with a client. And if you know any attorneys, if you may be an attorney yourself, you have hung around attorneys, you work in an attorney office, and it's not just attorneys, it's a lot of professionals. It's a lot, it's not just attorneys. And you realize a lot of people do live on the edge. You do realize that the most polished individuals live on the edge. Keep living. If you haven't seen it yet, all I say is just keep living. You do realize those who hold prestigious roles and titles often live on the edge. Usually, those people where their careers, their job, their marriage comes with so much restrictions, so much rules, and things like that, they tend to break them. They tend to live totally opposite of what their careers say they have to be or whatever, right? So it's one of those things that, like, what make a good person? What we consider good. Now, that's the question I want to ask you, Nigel. Because as a man, you do hear men say, "Okay, well, I want a lady a lady in the streets, but a freak in the sheets," right? What is a man's version of a good girl? Like that good woman that you don't mind bringing home to your mom, that you wouldn't mind raising your kids, that you wouldn't mind settling down with. What do most men? I know not all. You can't speak for all, but what do most men consider a good woman, a good girl?
I mean, I think, in my opinion, that good girl is the overall package in how they look, their attitude, education. Um, are they would they be enhancing me in terms of teaching me something different or whatever? Um, that they are palatable to my family, right? That people don't look at them as some off the chain ghetto person. They don't have all these bullet holes and stab wounds and stuff like that, on their skin and blemishes, like because they always freaking fighting their knuckles hard as hell, and then they always talking a whole lot of shit that, anything on the opposite of that, that's what we would most likely consider a good girl, right? Because they calm, they collected, they do what they gotta do. Um, they got a job, they're busy, they're doing their thing more or less, right? When we get into the acting ghetto and all that sort of stuff, that's when we move out to that technically that good girl phase per se.
So let me ask you a question. Just because someone is ghetto, and I'm gonna have to ask you to describe what your definition of ghetto, does that still not make them a good person? Because you can come from the ghetto, you can be a part of the ghetto environment, but still be a good
Yeah, but the
person.
ghetto don't mean the environment. The ghetto just means the behavior. We like to say,
Well, that's what I mean. Like you might, when I say you come from a ghetto environment, meaning your family, like you might come from a ghetto situation.
That's not ghetto. But that's not the ghetto. Is not the girl.
But you're
in
trying to
that
say
thing.
it's not in her.
It's the behavior of the individual. I ain't talking about the behavior of the neighborhood. I ain't talking about the behavior of the family and stuff, because people come from those different families and they're not like that, and they're not part of that. It's just that individual. What they're getting out of that individual themselves.
Hey,
Right?
can I ask what's your definition of ghetto? Because we could be talking about like trailer park trash too. Like what's
All
your...
of that ghetto.
Okay.
I from the islands, we just call them wajan, right? That's the terminology we just use in the island. They just wajan, meaning that they just loud. They're always making a big fuss. They just off the chain, off the wall every time. The slightest thing triggered, all they ready to fight. They gotta throw down. They got babies on the hip and they want to fight with
Just
children on the
react
hips
first
and
before they
all that sort of stuff. And they don't know how to de-escalate situations in terms of when to turn it on, because it has nothing to do with not being able to fight, because everybody should be able to fight and defend themselves and do all that sort of stuff when it's needed. But your first trigger is always, I gotta fight on the slightest of things, right? Everything is a disrespect, so I gotta fight. Everything is like, I gotta be loud. Everything is like,
You have to react.
Is a
I have to
reaction, an
react, yeah.
unnecessary reaction, an overreaction to something. To me, those are what I consider ghetto. If you're in on that level and you could cool and you're cool and you're calm and you could differentiate and you could solve a problem mentally and stuff, to me, all those are good girls. Because good girls don't have nothing to do necessarily with sex, whether they're virgins and all that sort of stuff. It's just that you know how to comport, carry about yourself, move, you know when to be seen, you know when not
You're
to
a
be
time and
seen,
place person.
and all that
You're
sort
a
of
time-
stuff. That's on the good level,
They
not
have
the wise
decorum.
level.
Yeah. Okay, I see what you're saying. All right. So, and also like asking the male's opinion. Do you think, because a lot of people don't like to take accountability, do you think that your partner can change you? Do you think that your partner can influence your personality in the decisions that you make?
It is possible in certain situations, right? Not it ain't gonna happen for everybody. So if that person is for you and and you're spiritually connect, I would say that if your spirits connect and you're with that person, it is possible to.
So let me ask you, you have a daughter, and your daughter is you because you read the book. You read the book. You read the book, and your daughter is in a situation like jailhouse dick. Because one of the first things she says, "Daddy would never approve." That's what the character in the book said. She's like, "Daddy would never approve." And your daughter brings home someone like the character in the book, and I'm not going to tell details, but your daughter brings home something like the character in the book. Why would that make you worry as a father? Because I think that the thing is, I'm in my 40s, right? And I still hear women well into their 40s, older than me, who still like the bad boy persona. And I think all of us like a little, because like even with my friendships, I don't want you to be like this perfect person. I want to get in a little bit of trouble. You know what I mean? I like a little fun, a little excitement. I don't want to go to jail and I don't want to harm anybody. You know what I mean? But I do like to like get into a little, oh my God, I like to have a story to tell. But what will make you worry?
The extremes make me worry.
People don't realize dating a bad boy puts you and those around you in such a horrible position. And so that's why it's so hard for me when I hear other women speaking, women of age. It's so hard for me. They say I'm forcing you to do this. Poor guy. They say I'm forcing you to do this because I guess I'm answering the questions. But like, what makes you say like, all right, like as a woman, what makes you say at this big age, I want to date a bad guy? You know what I'm saying? Like, first of all, it puts you in harm. It puts you and those around you in harm's way. But I wanted to go back what you were saying, like about your daughter.
Because I need a medium, right? I think if people you date a medium, they could get high or they could get low. Mm-hmm. That's fine. But when they're too low or when they're too high, to me, that's always going to be a problem. Because when they're too full of themselves, they're going to lead you down that wrong track. When they're too low and they're on that dark side, you're going down that other rabbit hole there. So they always need to be a medium. So that whole bad boy persona, mm-hmm. if nothing is going to come out of that, meaning that that person can't add anything meaningful to your life, right? Meaningful. Teach you something, show you something, take it to a different level. That's a problem. Now, two opposites could make it work, right? Because if they're willing to
she can actually
to
influence
take
him.
advice and stuff like that. She could elevate and 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 move forward, then that's fine. The same way that that street level is going to always be there to protect her in other situations. He will be there to protect her because hey, he about that, so he gonna go all out to protect. But if it is the bad boy is just really just not willing to move out of that space because we've seen it. We have family that you could kind of see that with somebody that come from a whole different level and they meet a young lady at this level and he has actually moved on to that level that she's on. His whole life changed.
Right.
His whole life changed
him to make better decisions, to be a better person.
And if he gotta go low, he could go low to protect his newfound family and stuff like that. All those things are definitely you know good things to have and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So that so those are good things. So it just depends on what it is that bad boy per se is bringing to the table.
But like being an attorney, and this is someone that you represented, and now you're dating your client, like you're putting more than just, you know, like you're putting your license on the line. You know what I'm saying? Like this is you crossing boundaries over some dick. Because what it is some dick. And like I have told you guys since we started talking about this book, we don't realize that, baby, we talk about drugs, right? But we don't realize like sex. Whew. Those hormones that you release during sex, people do not realize how addictive it is. People go into situations and they're like, oh, I can control it. How many times have you probably like put yourself in a situation and you're like, oh, I can come out on top of this. I have discipline. I got this. And then you're like, maybe I don't have this. You know what I'm saying? So it's one of those things where, like, once you cross those boundaries, especially we talk about this, especially kissing and raw sex, something about going raw with somebody and tongue wrestling with somebody is gonna have you in your feelings for a long goddamn time, and you're not gonna be able to break things off of them. So it's like, is it worth it? But sometimes when you're caught up, like in her situation, she's already caught up. There's evidence. Like even if you try and break it up with this man, you already got text messages, you got video surveillance, you got things showing that, all right, I can't even get out of this because you put yourself in a situation.
In that situation, I would be more concerned because it have no going up with that. Right? That's strictly about you getting emotional because of some sex and shit. So you're about to let sex ruin, like so many men out there allow sex to bring them freaking down. So you're about to let sex bring her down to a different level because it in that particular story is nothing due to offering besides some penis. And you get caught up in that shit and you know, that could be the end of your freaking career because you get caught up in that. So it gotta make sense. All I can tell people is it just gotta make sense. Relationship, who you're screwing, all that sort of shit, just gotta fucking make
things
sense.
gotta make sense, and that's a problem. Like even speaking about what we first talked about, like when we first came on this topic, and we were just saying, like, you know, the whole Meg and Clay Thompson or whatever. Just anybody you date, it needs to make sense because one, you don't know the outcome, right? So you don't know if this is going to be a situation that's going to be okay real quick. I can get out of this, or if it's going to be one of those things where I don't even really want to be in this, but I'm already in too deep, and now I cannot get out of it because you don't know how that other person is going to react to you. So like I try and tell people, you know, like I even have videos on this. Like we have to go through the seasons of love. I know, like when you first fall in love with somebody, you first meet them, everything just seems so good. It's a butterfly.
It's in newness.
Feeling,
newness. You're running on adrenaline and that newness, that new feeling, the new pussy, the new dick, whatever. Yeah. All that excitement.
You're in sync. You know, this person is making you laugh. You're not living with them, so you don't know their bad habits.
The audition.
Yeah, it's an audition, and their representative is showing up or whatever. So everything does feel good. And so people will say, oh, well, you know already, you know within the first month of meeting somebody whether or not you want to marry them. You might think you know, or you may very well know, but are you ready? So knowing something and being ready are two different things. I knew that I was always going to college. I knew that from a little girl. Now, was I actually prepared to go when I'm 10 years old saying that, oh, I'm going to go to such and such college? No, I wasn't. I had to keep living. You know what I mean? To start understanding that, oh, I need to make this decision for myself and not just follow in my mother's footsteps because she went, or my family. I got to figure this out for myself. I got to figure out how, disciplined I need to be, or how responsible I need to be, and blah, blah, blah. So it's just like that with relationships. Like, you might be with somebody for 2 years, but then you think about it. Well, have you ever saw this person angry? Do you know how this person would react if they were to lose a job? And I'm not saying actually be with somebody to find out, how they act when they lose a job. So you need to be with them for at least 8 years before they actually get laid off or before they get fired. I'm not saying that, but what I'm saying is if you haven't seen a person's emotions, all of them, or at least the majority of them. And when I say emotions, if the only time you've ever only seen your mate happy and that is it, no other emotion, you haven't seen them when they're angry, you haven't seen them when they're sad, you haven't seen them grieving, you haven't seen them excited, you haven't seen them anxious. Like, you haven't seen all those other emotions that might affect you.
Don't do it.
You need to keep dating. You need to keep putting in time because you do not know. You really do not. I can I have been in relationships for a long time before people ever saw me upset. And I'm somebody who has a temperament that will spoil the entire room's mood. Like, everyone will be like, get her the fuck up out of here. You know what I'm saying? And so, like, had Nigel asked me to marry him when everything was all good, and he probably would have been like, oh no, get me the out the first time he met my temperament. So I think it's good to actually see the negative side of people, so to know how you would actually deal with that. Because you might never see your man get mad, and the first time he does, it actually scares you know? And imagine the first time you actually see this is when you guys are already 4 years in marriage. Not, the 4 years while you were just dating and you could say, okay, this is not for me. This is a little scary, whatever. So it's like with anything you do, even casual dating. I support casually hunching. I support, hooking up. Have the one night stands if you want to. All I say is just always be safe. But with being safe, always take your brain with you too, because everything has a consequence. Everything that we do. And I think that's what we fail to realize. Like, when I'm listening to other podcasts or when I'm having other conversations with other people, I'm like, you guys don't think deeper. Y'all don't think beyond the surface level. Just think that two people are dating and okay, all right, cool. But what happens when you realize this dick is no good for you? It might be good to you, but it's not good for you. And now it's too late. Like this situation in this book, Jailhouse Dick, when the good girl went chasing a bad boy. Now it's too late for you because you weren't smart. 15 minutes of pleasure could turn into 15 years of chaos. You know what I'm saying? And it's not just we talk about the good girl and the bad guy, but it's some good guys that love the bad chick. You know, it's some guys where you look at some family members in your family and all the sisters and the mothers and your grandmothers and aunts are looking like he could do so much better. But he liked the bad girl. He liked the girl that does X, Y, and Z. And it's like it's because of the coochie. Y'all, I keep telling y'all are never gonna come together. Y'all are never going to come between a person and their sex organ. Like they listen. As much as we love to downplay sex, humans are addicted to sex. Forget about this. If it's good, they're not coming off that. They're not coming off that. Like, she is willing to lose everything that she's worked so hard for because of those 15 minutes of some good fucking. And it all boils down to just being human. Humans, we see that with our kids. You try and give your kids like the good life. You try and give them everything that you had and then some more. You don't want them exposed to the real world. You always want to keep them protected. And here these Negroes want to be goons. You know what I'm saying? They want to be living like the people who are struggling.
Still do the same shit. They're gonna do the opposite.
They're gonna do the total opposite. Everybody want what they cannot have, and it's not just adults. If you look at kids, it start from like like a lot of people want that forbidden fruit. A lot of people want the things that they don't have. They just want to see, oh, I was always protected. My father always took care of me. You know, mommy and daddy always made sure I had the best. Well, I want to see what it's like, you know, visiting the hood. I want to see what it's like dating that dope dealer. I want to see what it's like dealing with that guy that killed a couple bodies. Because one, it make you feel like that it girl. You know, it make you feel like something you have never had before growing up in the environment that you grew up in, that good girl environment. You know, it gives you this rush. It's kind of just like sex too, like how sex gives you like a certain rush after you release the dopamines and the oxytocin or whatever. That's kind of what that good girl, bad boy persona brings to certain people. They got something that they never had before, and it just make them feel like it just I don't know. Some people do associate also like that bad boy, I don't know what you want to call it. They associate like that whole bottom bitch. I think that's what it's called. Like your main girl. It's a power. Even though like we know that you're not living a king queen life, it's presented to you like you top queen. Like nobody, you're so protected. Nobody's gonna bother you. I run the streets, so you that brings people like it's an excitement that you can't explain, and they
It's
want
just
that.
power.
It's
People
power,
just
a
get
certain, a different type of power.
addicted to power.
Yeah.
However, that power is right. They have, and that power could be on any level.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? So it's just everybody just want the power. Power just of the household itself. That little square box that you have that you call yours, and people
Hmm.
in you just want the power off of that, or you want the power off of that person or that group of people. Um, just to say you are above them. It's a human thing. We
Human.
always want to be better or above somebody fucking else, and that's the bottom line. But
Human.
that's not always the best thing to happen.
All right, guys, we are
All the
wrapping
time.
this up. Thank you for spending your Wednesday hump day night with us. Remember to get the book, pleasureprinciplesbook.com. That's pleasureprinciplesbook.com, or you can go on Amazon and type in Pleasure Principles, written by Sherri Shabazz. Don't forget your merch, Make America Come Again, MACA, Make America Come Again,
Is this orgasm
and
donor or no?
Orgasm Donor. We
Yeah.
also have CBT Lube, natural libido enhancer, and there's other stuff on the website,
Don't forget to like,
sherryshabazz.com.
press
Don't
like.
forget to like, share. We're over here for a while until Instagram release me on my lives. I can go back home. But we're on YouTube for a little while, and we have to.
We probably will stay on both, but we'll probably stream more on
We
IG
got to
as
get
well.
used to these weird guests that don't know us. I got to get used to these random unsolicited comments too. But until next time, we do appreciate you guys for showing love, showing support. See you guys next week, next time. I mean, same time, same place next week. Bye.